slightly later date period, but still thousands of years old, the Epic of Atrahasis. And we see a very similar story. And we see where the sons of God literally came down to earth. They came from Mars, according to this text. If you read the translation of the planet Mars and to English, and then they went to battle. They were going to go to battle in South Africa against Enki and Lil and Anu.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Scripture Plug.Albert, and today I'm going to be reacting to a snippet from the Billy Carson and Wes Huff debate. I've never heard of Billy Carson or Wes Huff until all this stuff started to come up, so I can't wait to hear about what's going on. And apparently, brother Billy Carson is going to be showing and displaying how the Genesis narrative was stripped from another ancient work. Let's get into it. Let's hopefully learn something.
Predominantly, from my research, I discovered that a lot of information from the Enuma Elish and the seven tablets of creation is in Genesis. A lot of the creation story that comes into Genesis, almost word for word from the Enuma Elish and the seven tablets of creation. The Epic of Atrahasis as well is also there in the Old Testament.
Have you read the Enuma Elish?
Yeah.
Do you mind summarizing the content of the creation account in the Enuma Elish for us?
Sure. The Enuma Elish is a very ancient text discovered in the Library of Ashurbanipal. And the summary of it is that it really gives us an account, which is crazy, an astronomical account of the creation of our solar system. It talks about planets and moons gaining specific orbits around the sun. It talks about a huge planet named Tiamat, 46 times larger than Earth. Earth didn't exist at the time that this, according to the author of this text, which is pretty interesting. And then there's talks about a nemesis of sorts. In the original version, it's called Nibiru, but in a more recent version, still thousands of years old, the name was changed to Marduk. Marduk is in the Jewish American Library, in the biblical text, in the Torah, and so forth. Very popular figure in ancient times in the religious books and text. Marduk wanted to be the destroyer, so Marduk is the one that during its next orbit.
Hey, yo, am I tripping? Am I tripping, or is this brother not saying anything that's in the creation account of Genesis? What is going on here, my guy? You said out your mouth, you said word for word from these two sources. You're bringing up the one source now, the Enuma Elish, and so far we ain't got nothing, not one thing. That was your claim, Billy Carson. You said that it's word for word, but yet you talking about planets and everything that's happened before the creation of Earth. What's going on? He said he was sick. He came on a couple days ago and did a response video. Said, "Hey, yo, they set me up. I was sick. I wasn't feeling good." Obviously, this brother, so far anyway, ain't like Jordan when he had the flu. He ain't him, because it's tough for him right now, because we're already a minute 20 in, and we'll give it about a minute in, and he's supposed to be summarizing, and yet that summary ain't really add up to anything about the Genesis creation account. But maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm jumping the gun. There's still a little bit of time left. So maybe, he's gonna correct the ship right here. Maybe he's gonna hammer hard how this Enuma Elish is the actual creation story that Genesis copied from.
Towards Tiamat, crashed into Tiamat, destroyed Tiamat. A huge chunk of it swung away, recoalesced, taking the water, land, and organic material, which basically recoalesced as our planet here, Earth. And the rest of it broke up into pieces. Some of it turned into the asteroid belt. Other parts of it were thrown towards the sun, and some were thrown towards the inner Oort cloud, towards the outer edge of the solar system. This planet, or this moonlet that orbited supposedly a brown dwarf, based on the description of it, gained a very strange orbit around our sun. And we have the scientific evidence now also to match with NASA's data, where we see that Saturn and I believe Neptune switch places. Uranus is flipped on its side, and that's more evidence that something came through our solar system in ancient times and gravitationally really tugged at planets here and switched up their orbits, and even pulled the axis of a planet on its own side, where the equator is now running north and south. So a little bit of modern astrophysics kind of backs up what this ancient text is saying. But the Enuma Elish also then begins to talk about the fact that
Okay, we another minute in now, y'all, and I'm tripping. I had to flip my headset around to see if I'm just not hearing everything correctly. I must just be, I don't know. Maybe he got so sick that he didn't understand what the assignment was. Maybe that's what it is. When he went off over there in Nova Scotia, allegedly, everything I'm about to say is alleged, by the way, because I don't want to get sued by this brother. But going over there to Nova Scotia, that's not where he went. I'm just making this stuff up. Went over there to Nova Scotia. He went over there to Nova Scotia because he only had 4 elevators working at the time, and he really needed 6 of them, so he had to go get an elevator mechanic. And going to get an elevator mechanic, he caught the Enuma Elish, and when he caught the Enuma Elish, he almost died. Bless his heart. Thank God he's not dead. So then when he went over there, he caught the Enuma Elish, and the reason why he caught the Enuma Elish is because the private plane that he took all the way to Nova Scotia only had 4 air conditioners in it. It didn't have the 6 that he's used to. Bam, got sick. Crazy stuff. And this is basically how I broke that down as a summary of how this brother said that he was sick and how everything transpired in his response video. That's as close as his version of this book is to the Genesis account at this moment in time. This is wild. This is wild. But again, he's sick. Hey, look at him. He looks down. He looks bad. He doesn't look good. So that has to be what it is. That has to be what it is, because right now he ain't summarized nothing that sounds anything like the Genesis creation count at all. Zero, zilch. It's not even close.
These beings, it kind of cuts into the fact that these beings, are on Earth and at some point begin to engage mankind. In other words, they didn't create people from scratch, but they engaged the existing hominid and began to utilize us as workers for their workforce. In the Atrahasis epic, you see a much similar story, like slightly later date period, but still thousands of years old, the epic of Atrahasis. And we see a very similar story. And we see where the sons of God literally came down to Earth. They came from Mars, according to this text, if you read the translation of the planet Mars and to English. And then they went to battle. They were going to go to battle in South Africa against Enki and Lil and Anu. And they come to terms without going to battle. They argued that they needed women, human women, believe it or not. And they also wanted a workforce. They didn't want to continue to do the labor. They were cleaning out the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, digging canals, building cities on Earth, and according to the text on Mars, not according to me. And a decision was made by Enki and Anu and Enlil to allow this experiment to happen, where they would take the existing hominid here. They would slay one of the gods, meaning that they would, in my opinion, that doesn't mean that they're going to kill it, but somehow some type of genetic modification or manipulation, in my personal opinion. That's my personal hypothesis. But in the end, it ends up being that human beings are now doing a lot of this labor and worshiping these people as gods, as they, my personal opinion, masqueraded as gods.
So what are the parallels there?
Separated the waters from the waters, for example. That's in the Enuma Elish, and that's also in the biblical text.
What? Oh, bruh. Oh,
okay,
bruh.
okay. That I would agree is a parallel.
Hey, yo, what did I just watch? Am I tripping or am I tripping, bro? What was going on? There was absolutely nothing that brother brought up that sounded anything like the creation account in Genesis. Nothing. And matter of fact, let's go look at a summary. And by the way, this comes from the World History Encyclopedia, so don't judge me. I'm just doing a quick little search, not nothing in depth. But let's go look at a summary real quick. Again, this comes from the World History Encyclopedia, so take it with a grain of salt if you want to. The story of the oldest in the world concerns the birth of the gods and the creation of the universe and human beings. In the beginning, there was only undifferentiated water swirling in chaos. So where does this water come from? Who knows? But apparently, water being created isn't created when it comes to them, or is there something that needs to go back a little bit deeper? Who knows? That really doesn't matter right now. Out of this world, though, the water is divided into sweet, fresh water, known as the god Apsu, and salty, bitter water, the goddess Tiamat. Once differentiated, the union of these two entities gave birth to the younger god. So when they came together, the water said, boom, we're going to create more gods. What in the world is about Genesis here? Trying to figure out. I know this is a summary, but come on now, Billy. This don't even make sense. Unless, again, you're getting your words mixed up. You're getting twisted with maybe some other stories that may have been like the Genesis account. But even looking into this looks way more akin to Greek and Norse mythology than it does the creation account. What's really going on, bruh? So shout out to Wes Huff for that video, man. I can't wait to do reaction to the entirety of the debate because I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, there's going to be more and more instances like that where Billy Carson is not going to be able to back up his claims. And that's what happens when people don't have the truth, when people build up these cult followings because of nothing but lies and playing off of what people would like as opposed to what's actually true. Because what's actually true is that there's one God, and that's the God of the Bible. That's what this channel is about, dedicating to show and prove the truth of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit, the one true God, the true God that actually wants to have a relationship with you, that actually cares enough about you, that he wants you to love him, and he doesn't want to force you to love him, anything like that. And he's also not like Tiamat or these other guys that, just have conflict, and from conflict, boom, we appeared. And we're definitely not primordial ooze that just came out of nowhere. None of that. The truth of the scriptures stand the test of time, stands the test of archaeology, stands the test of physics, science, wherever you want to go. Philosophy, it's all right there. The truth of the scriptures, y'all. So that's what we love to do here. We love to plug in the people that know better, plug in the scriptures, plug in anything that's going to help people get a better grasp and a better understanding of their faith and why it's true. That being said, it's your boy, the Scripture Plug.Albert. I'm going to catch y'all next time. I'm out.